and we got Dee Saint himself right there, boy.
How you doing, my dude?
Fucking, like fucking doing it mean in the mint green, you know?
The mint green. Hey,
Uh,
thanks for thinking of me, man.
definitely. I have to do it different. Like I have to be like, everywhere it's the same shit. I'm like, I gotta stand out. Mhm.
Yeah, man. So,
Yeah,
thanks for
man.
having me.
We actually go back Actually, I was actually noticing when I searched up our first interview. Like our first interview wasn't even actually what I thought was our first interview. Our first interview was back at the jump off clothing spots back in like 2013. But the one I have on my channel is the 2015 one. The I was like, oh shit, we actually have an older one than this. I was like, oh shit, we go back.
I've been around, eh? I've been around. So it's been for a few years now that I've done almost 50 shows. I believe it's like 47 shows where I'm on the ticket, just being a hype man and doing a couple originals. But I've never really done a big show of my own for sure.
And give me 1 second. I just forgot my notes over here.
Yeah, no worries, no worries, no worries.
Yeah, we got.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Back. Notes on deck. Notes on deck. Gotta have my notes.
hmm
So, I remember in our first interview, you were like talking about you're like, a lot of these guys just start off rapping and like they're like, like we're like I'm gonna carry this backpack until I fucking and until I make it, and like you're like, I wanna buy a house, I wanna start these businesses, and like I wanna get on my shit like prior to like really going hard on the rap, like you're like I'm gonna get rich and then rap,
Yeah.
which is like completely different mindset from like almost everybody. What was the top pattern there? Like, you know?
Well, what happened, in my opinion, is that I found myself getting desperate.
Yeah.
So, I was living out of my backpack, living in a car and doing songs with people that just weren't me. So like I remember trying to do songs with people, and because I just wanted to get out there, I was willing to do things that were out of character and that were out of my image, and there was this one song that did it for me. I'm not going to say who specifically, but they wanted me to get on this song, and the hi-hat or the snare was actually like a click of a gun. And it was like click clack, and like literally the whole song was about shooting people and stuff, and it's just like I'm not about that. So I just said, I'm gonna get rich first and then come back to music, because I know music ain't going anywhere, and I found myself getting in desperate situations.
Right. And I find like a lot of people like it's very important. Like I've been on this shit too. Like I took a little break, but I've been investing in my mind.
Absolutely. Invest in your mind, invest in yourself. Best investment you can make, man.
For sure. And like yeah, a lot of people like coming up as rappers, we're all like, like let's do the shippers, and we'll buy these houses, and like so like was there somebody like, like early on like was telling you like, hey, like I'll tell you a story about like what kind of fucked me over. When I was in high school, like I was very good at math. Like I wasn't very good in like some of the other subjects, but like in math, I was really good, right? So when it came to like grade 12 math, like they asked me to do the university math, and I was like, okay. And then later on in life, I realized like in the workplace math, they'll teach you about mortgages. They're teaching you about all the shit that's like actually going on in life, like like and like I was learning like trigonometry and all this shit that I never used, and like I was like, man, I wish like if I would have took those classes, I would have been maybe in the mindset of like, hey, like I'm gonna buy a house, I'm gonna get into these
Yeah.
businesses, I'm gonna get in like so I think like that kind of put me in a different direction, and like it changed my mind. Like was there somebody that was kind of like in your life telling you like hey, when like when you get in your 20s, like it's important to invest early.
Well, my mom was always a big entrepreneur. And she
Okay.
definitely got me going in that kind of mindset. I actually started my first company with my mom's old briefcase that she had from her real estate days. I actually had to buy it off my mom. She wouldn't give it to me for free. So I had to buy that suitcase off my mom, and I remember buying that and telling myself that I was gonna, open my own company. The mindset was different, because regardless of what the educational system is, it's basically on your elders and your guidance and your peers to steer you in the right way, right? Um, but at the end of all of this, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of people try to emulate the end game, instead of trying to emulate the process. And in the process is really the part that you have to kind of fall in love with. And the thing is, I've been doing music for such a long time that it's something that just I really love to do. So it's something that I'm doing anyway. You know what I mean? So it's just exciting to be able to finally get out there and be able to share it. And hi Barb and hi William.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, definitely yeah, the actual percentage of like people that actually make a living off rap
Yeah,
is
yeah,
very low. So you have the mind, you have the right mindset. Like and like me, I've actually I haven't put out songs for a while, but like I still like I'll freestyle every once in a while, and like I never really lose love for it. But
yeah.
but I realize like maybe like just off rap. I don't think I'm gonna make a living. Maybe these interview things might pop off and I might make a living off that. That's doing a lot better for me. But as far as like when I was just doing raps and I had to realize I was like, yeah, like this right here is it's hard sometimes when you have the dream, but when like sometimes you gotta realize like, oh shit, this is actually a hobby.
Absolutely. And this is the thing about the dream is that it's about teaching people to go for your dreams, not necessarily go for the same dream as me. Not necessarily my dreams aren't the same dream as yours. You have to have
Exactly.
your own dreams and have your own and your own identity. And when you have your own identity, then you can start, you know what I mean, figuring out what your dreams are and figuring out what the things that you want, you know. And the thing is that this is just a platform. That's the way I see it. My end game is not making music and rapping in bars for beer. And unfortunately, that's what my mom did her whole life. You know, where she would sing and would be one of the very talented artists, but she's just playing for beer money. Where the thing
Yeah.
is that these athletes, these celebrities, all these people that have these big platforms, it's what they do with it and where are they going with it, right? And that's basically what I want to do. So instead of going with the whole, you know, make money quick and sell drugs and do all the negative things that everyone, when you grow up and you actually grow up, you end up regretting. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Instead of going that route, I want to go the entrepreneur route. I want to encourage people to start their own companies. The thing is that even if you had this dream and you wanted to do these things, you couldn't do them in other countries. It just wouldn't even be possible, even if you
Right.
had the dream, even if you had the drive, right? So the thing is that we have something special here, and I think that there's not a lot of guidance for young people and not a lot of encouragement in that aspect. So I push a lot of that in my music about being an entrepreneur and about, and about starting your own path and living your own dreams, no matter what it is.
Yeah. So you actually started like a roofing business
Yeah,
like early.
so I opened a construction company and a roofing company when I was 22 years old.
That's
And
fire, yo. Like, yo, right there. Yo, starting a construction company and a roofing at 22 years old, man.
yeah,
Like, man, like, congrats to you, man. Like, cause like
thank you.
that's a huge fucking step at 22 years old. Like,
It is, man.
like for me, like I was fucking, I was just trying to like slap asses and fucking get drunk, you know?
I, you know, I struggled. We all have things we struggle with.
Yeah,
Come on, we all have them.
for sure.
I struggled with reading and writing, and it was one
Yeah,
of my biggest problems. I
me
could
too.
do math, I could do a lot of things, but reading and writing was one of my things I struggled with. And I think maybe that's why I maybe wrote things down so I could say things after thinking them properly, thinking them through. But the thing is that I spent, I believe it was, I don't want to admit it, but I was there for 5 years in high school and I never passed and I failed. And I dropped out and I wrote my GED and I failed that as well.
Yeah,
And
it's all part of the journey, you know.
it is. And I ended up studying with my mom to write these books. These books I had to buy were like $500 from Mohawk College. And they were pretty expensive. And I ended up having to write this test. I studied for like 8 months with my mom, studying these books, you know, learning they're the building code for residential and commercial resident building and repair to be a contractor.
Yeah,
Anyways, long story short, I studied, finally worked up the courage, $1,200 to write the test, and they only do it twice a year. So if you fail it, you miss the whole season. Also, you have to have proof of insurance to write the test, and if you get the insurance, you have to get it by yearly. They ain't gonna give you insurance for a day, so you got to pay for all that. So I'm thinking
yeah.
like
So yeah, so you have to buy the insurance, and if you fail, you're like, shit,
I'm
I
out.
got.
I'm probably out $2,600 just to write the test.
Yeah,
And there's no guarantee and there's no refund. And I studied for it. I finally worked up the courage. I went down there and I found out it was an open book test. And I studied as if it wasn't.
yeah,
So you can imagine, I ended up getting 93%,
yeah,
and anything over 85, you get your master's. So I
yeah.
got my master contractor's license at 22 years old, and by 23 years old, I bought my first home, and I turned it all around.
Man, that's an amazing thing, man. That's an amazing thing.
Thank you, man.
For sure. And like, so what was the point? Okay, like, you're doing this, and you're saying you want to get, like, you want to have your shit together, and then like, so what was the point? Like, so you're like, okay, now I want to actually like, put some focus on this, on this rap shit.
So I've been doing a lot of my music out here. I've been having a lot of time recently, and I've been doing a
No,
lot of my music.
I was saying like when you first started putting out the music.
When I first started putting up the music, what was the question? Sorry.
So like so yeah, so it's at 22 years old,
Ah,
you do that, and then after that, like, what was the point? Then after that, you're like, hey, I'm gonna start putting out this music.
so I kept going for a little bit, until I was about 25 years old.
Yeah,
And then I realized that I can't do two things half-ass. So I needed to pick one.
yeah,
But at the same time, I never released an album, I never released a mixtape, never released anything. But at the same time, I never gave up on the dream. I still kept making music and still kept writing songs, still kept doing shows, still kept supporting people, but never focused on my own thing. I ended up doing a lot of production, doing a lot of composing, doing a lot of music videos for other people,
yeah,
you know, and just kind of putting my own thing on the back burner. And now that I'm back at it, I came back at it because I have a little bit of time now, but it was really because of a man named Bob. And this
shout
man
out.
has become a family friend, he's become family over the
Yeah,
last 7 to 8 years. And I was working on my music here, and he came over because he comes over all the time. And I told him about this competition. And this Bob guy just been recently diagnosed with multiple growths, one on his lung, one on his liver. He's got a few things going. He just had some blood work done, and honestly, it's not looking good. To be completely honest with you, he's like 50. He's turning 50 in October. Anyway, long story short, he pours his heart out into me at the doorway, talking about how he's never lived his dream, about how he never lived his life for himself, and how, you know, I need to do this competition and I need to start doing my music more. And honestly, man, he poured it into me as like we're walking out the door. And it really hit me. And I was like, all right, I'll do this for Bob. And I joined this competition. I ended up finishing first place in the voting process, over 120 votes. A
Yeah.
bunch of them went through, but didn't. I actually had more votes than that, but they took a bunch off or something like this. So they worked it all out, and I still ended up finishing first after the big rush. And I had a bunch of people message me saying, you know, that I inspired them when they were younger and that they remember me. They're like, oh, yo, Dee Saint, I remember you, yo. And I was like, you know, maybe I should keep, you know, there is some love. There's some love out there for Dee Saint. So I should keep it going, you know. And this one here, this one's for Bob. This show here, and tomorrow, I'm doing a show tomorrow in front of judges. And I've never done a show in front of judges. You know, if anything, I've gone to shows and I was the judge in the crowd, right? Now
Right.
I'm going to be going up there and I'm going to be the judge, or I'm going to be getting judged. And I couldn't be more excited about it.
For sure, for sure. Definitely, you know, like, and like, and he's definitely right, man. Like, man, there's times when, we keep making the next step in life, put one foot in front of the other, and like, well, time pass by, and we're like, oh
Yeah.
shit, man, we've actually trying to do everything at once, and like, I guess it's just not, it doesn't work like that sometimes. Like, man, like sometimes you just gotta
Yeah.
focus on one thing, focus on one thing and just fucking kill it. Like like for me, like I was telling you, I still love rap, but I realized like my interviews were doing a lot better than my raps, and I love both of them. So,
Yeah.
but I was like, I'm like, yo, the interviews are doing way better. So like, I just kind of like stopped rapping and putting out songs for a while, and just focus on these interviews because like, I actually love talking. I
Yeah,
love
man, it's
talking.
good for you, man. It's good for you to talk. It's good for you to do this, and I've always wanted to support you. You've always been supportive of me since day one. We've always clicked since day one. You've always been around, and I appreciate you inviting me on tonight.
For sure, for sure. So, like, who are some of the early like people like when you first started listening to hip hop? Like, you're like, yo, like these guys are dope.
First guys that I listened to that were dope. Well, I have to say Jay Hashi, the Mouthpiece, was probably my first hip hop influence ever.
Shout
Um,
out, shout out to Ashy.
Jay Hashi for sure. And then a guy named Tommy Allen, Traverse, gave me my first Rock Him CD. We hung out one time. He invited me over, gave me a big warm welcome. I went to this new high school. I ended up moving like 12 times in elementary, more times than there were grades in elementary, 3 different schools in grade 8. And then I went to a brand new high school. I didn't know nobody. And this one guy brought me in, eh? And he was such a good guy to me. And he lent me this CD. And I never returned it. And gave me this, you know what it's like, the old days when you lent a CD. Tommy Allen, I still got that CD, bro. I still got the CD. But hey, he lent me this CD and it really influenced me because I never listened to any hip hop or rap when I was younger. You know, I wasn't influenced by any of that. The first stuff I started doing was poetry. And because my mom was into like singing and guitar, and my dad was a guitar player, and they actually met in a band. My parents.
Oh shit! So yeah, so you come from like a musical background as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Both my parents are big musicians. Plus, my parents' parents, my grandparents were big musicians as well.
So like in my family, they're like where the fuck did this come from? Because like neither one of my parents are into this shit. So like they're like, where the fuck did this shit come from? But like yeah, like actually for me like my dad, he's a tour bus driver. He's take his seniors on tours. So
Nice.
like he actually took me down to Branson, Missouri one time, and like it was like a tourist town and had like a bunch of shows. So I seen a bunch of different like performing like music, stage performances, comedy, and all that. Like in like this whole week that we went down there, and he said I was sitting on the edge of my seat, and when I came back, I was like, yo, I just got into like the entertainment bug.
Yeah, man. There's many elements to the game, man. There's
For sure.
many elements. It's all hands on deck. It's not just a couple people, man, and it's just not one guy. So there's a lot to it. You know what I mean? So there's a role for everybody, so to speak. You know?
And definitely those Hamilton nights were probably inspiring a lot of music, eh?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know, the good nights and the bad nights. The good nights and the bad nights. It's just it's not what you go through. It's how you overcome it, right?
Right, right. So yeah, so like like you're a rapper, but you're also a producer.
Yeah.
How is do you like one better than the other?
I want to say writing music and performing music is more satisfying.
Yeah,
But composing music and listening to your song and like showing other people and them really digging like the music, not like the lyrics, like just the music itself, and then them like spark like their creativity and get them inspired and all that. That's probably, it's a close second, but it's not, there's nothing like going on stage and performing your song that you created and other people liking it. There's nothing better than that. But it's a close second making music for people and inspiring them, like shout out to ES, one of the musicians that started me, like, that inspired me when I was younger. He has an album called Aspire to Inspire, and it hit me in the heart because I'm one of those dudes that, I enjoy inspiring people. Like the last music video I just shot, the guy that I talked to, he never did a music video before. And I was like, yo, I'm doing your music video. I'm doing the first one. Because when you do it with someone it's their first time, it's like it's your first time again. You know what I mean? You get that
for sure.
feeling again and you
No,
get
no,
excited for
I hear
them,
that. Yeah,
and you feed off the energy, and I'm all about energy because, I've never been a super intelligent person. So I've always had to
yeah,
rely on my heart and my feelings and my instinct, right? Because I wasn't like the super smart that could, or whatever, right? So I had to rely on my heart. So I go off of feeling a lot, and that feeling right there, that's a memory that guy will have forever. And when he gets older, no matter what he does, even if he doesn't make it, which I hope he does, obviously, if he
yeah.
doesn't make it, he'll always think back of that one video and be like, yo, Dee Saint put me on, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Like, even for me, like, when like, I hear like rappers like, and like they're like, oh man, I'm putting out songs and stuff, but they've never done the live shows.
Yeah,
I put them on to like meeting the promoters and stuff like that, and like,
yeah,
I actually got them on shows, and then seeing their performance,
yeah.
and I get off stage and they're like. And they're so hyped. They're like, "Thank you for like, thank you for this, man." Like, it's such an amazing thing. And you're right. It is kind of like bringing back that first like when you see how excited they are, you're like, "Oh man!" Like it fucking it brings you back to remembering like your first time on stage.
Absolutely.
I remember like my first time. A friend of mine had just performed like the week prior, and he had rapped over his vocals,
Yeah.
and I actually thought like I actually thought like that's what people do. So so I actually went to the show with with my songs, and the sound guy is like, "Yo, this sounds like shit. Like you gotta go back and you gotta get all your beats." And I was like, oh shit! So like I had to rush home, fucking put everything on a USB, and then bring it back, and then
Wow.
I had to redo sound check, and then I was like so nervous like after that, right? Because I was like, oh fuck, I just fucked up, and like I had to run
I
back
bet.
home. I was such in a rush, and then like a buddy of mine was telling me, he's like, yo, yeah, just get through that first song. Trust that first song, and after you crush that first song, you'll have the confidence. Like you already know these songs, yeah, but you'll
Yeah.
have the confidence after crushing that first song. He's like, don't worry about
Yeah.
the whole song. Just, like crush that first song, and then you'll have it. And I remember like when I finished that first song, and like there was like nothing, like no sound from the crowd for like a second, and like it was like my heart stopped, but then the crowd,
Yeah.
then right after that, the crowd was like, woo, and I was like, oh, good, good, like I was like, it
It's
was
a good feeling.
it's such an amazing experience, like that first time,
Yeah.
first
It
time on
is.
stage, like nothing
It is.
else. You know?
Absolutely. It's something you'll never forget.
Yeah, and definitely like helping people like you said, like shooting their first video. Me like having like people get excited for like I've done like countless amount of people's first interviews,
Right. Right.
and like it's just an amazing experience. So who are some of the most favorite like your favorite people that you ever worked with in the 12 music scene?
Favorite people I've ever worked with has got to be Unit Live. And
I
Lucky.
got that one next
Unit
week.
Live and Chris. Yeah. He's one of those dudes that he is talented, but put his talent aside, even if you're not even looking at his talent, this guy's determined. I love this guy's energy. I love
Yeah,
everything about him. I just want to hang out with him all the time because he just inspires me to make more music all the time because he is hungry for making music, and I love that. If my cousin Barb is still here, um, her dad, my uncle John, he really inspired me with a lot growing up as a young man, and he really taught me that when you hang out with certain people, they draw energy from you, and when you hang out with other people, they recharge you and they charge you up and get you all excited to go, right?
yeah, yeah,
And you gotta hang around with more people that charge you up than bring you
for
down.
sure,
Unit
for
Live,
sure.
he's one of those guys that charges you up. Um, Lucky got a shout out to my homie Lucky, man. He's
Shout out
just
to
got
Lucky.
a he's got an incredible story. He was born 2 pounds 3 ounces, and he was told that he wasn't going to be able to talk or walk, and now he's doing shows and he's rapping and he's dancing on his head. He can break dance, everything. And honestly, that guy, man, brings tears to my eyes. I love that guy. I love being around him. I'm really close with his mom. Like, I've met his whole family. You know what I mean? Like, I go to his home all the time. Lucky's one of those dudes that I love working with. We did a few songs together, but only released a couple. But yeah, man. Oh, man, I get excited about talking about those guys.
For sure, for sure. Definitely shout out to them. And definitely I've been around them, and like the energy is there. Like
Yeah.
those guys, definitely. And another person like I actually heard you actually did a beat for and it's one of those people that give me energy is Burns,
Yeah.
Ross Burns. Like
Yes.
he's one of those people. Like
Love him. Yeah.
you actually had you sent him a beat, or he has a new
Yeah.
song coming up with
Yeah.
you.
Yes, we did. Yes, we've worked on a few songs. I've composed a few songs with him in mind, sent it to him, and he got back to me and was like, "Hey, have you sent anybody else this one?" And I was like, no, I don't think so." And he's like, "Yo, I want to write something to this." And I think it was like within 24 hours. It couldn't have been 2 days. He sent me back like a hook and a verse and everything, like he did like rough copy. And I was like, "Hey, love it." Again, inspiring people, right? And getting them to do what they love to do, and getting them all excited about it's amazing. But Ross Burns, man, hey, shout out to Ross Burns because he did a lot for me, man, and he's a really good guy. He's always gave me good advice. He always, I used to come over there and sit in his studio there in his back room. Very inspiring atmosphere. Love being around him. Love being in his
Oh, you just
studio.
joined in. You just joined in too. Nice.
And I'm not. Hey, he knows. He's always been
Yeah,
my
we're just
number
picking
one
you up, bro.
supporter. Hey, Ross Burns, man, I love this man. Know why? Because he honestly inspired me to give love to the next man too. Because every show I've ever done, he's right at
Yep.
the front, always supporting, always giving big hate. Yo, big show, all love, brother. Yeah, exactly, man. Honestly, like people don't realize because a lot of people don't tell people how they make them feel and how they inspire them. You know what I mean? People don't get around to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But this man right here, self-made, shout out to self-made. He's definitely been one of those dudes that was like, nah, man, Dee Saint, you
Yeah.
take this serious. Yo, no, Dee Saint, and he put me on shows. He got me in places. He introduced me to people personally. Yeah, man. Love the man. Respect.
For sure. Like everything you just said, he has done the same thing for me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. For
definitely,
sure.
definitely,
Great
for
dude.
sure. So yeah, so how was the move? Like, so you said to move from Hamilton. Like, like what was like? You said touched on a little bit on it earlier, but like, what was the whole thing behind that?
Yeah, that's a long story. But yeah, I ended up selling my company and selling my home and moving out east and moving on the ocean and buying a house and being mortgage free at 33.
Woo! That's like, man, like, yo, people talk about all these goals and shit like that. Man, to be mortgage free at 33, yo, congrats to you.
Respect, my
Congrats to
dude.
you for sure.
Respect, my dude. I have a great team behind me. I got an amazing wife. I got an amazing family. I got two beautiful children. I've been self-employed since I was 22 years old. I'm very, very, very lucky, and I'm very blessed. And hard work, sure, it does pay off, but a lot of people still do everything right and get unlucky. It's just the way it is, man. Like people, and
Yeah,
then they blame themselves and they go in this big rabbit hole. I honestly did all the right things and got lucky. I'm not gonna say I didn't. I got lucky
yeah,
for sure. I did. You know what I mean? For sure, I got lucky. But this mean you miss every shot you don't try. So I was
exactly.
shooting though, you know what I mean? And I was shooting and I was trying and there's a lot of parties, a lot of times, you know what I mean? People come up and be like, "Hey, let's go, one seat left. Let's go. We're going out to Dover. We're going out here. We're going out there, right?" And I'm like, "No, no, no. I'm going to save up because I want to start a company." So
Definitely, definitely. Like for me, like I felt like, man, like my trigger finger started getting all fucking all sore and shit, trying to shoot so many shots. Like fucking, man,
yeah.
but like that, you have to grind, and like even if you don't in your mind get to like the point where you feel successful, I've had people like come up to me and like maybe I'm not where maybe I didn't luck out in certain things, but like people have like come up to me and be like, yo, like being inspired by me and been like, yo, like fucking, like you putting in that work, fucking, and like they might see me as successful.
Hmm.
And like sometimes like even in your own mind if you don't feel successful like when you really put in that work and like it's a great feeling when like other people get inspired like for me like I've been on really on my like trying to lose weight shit and like and I'm posting about it and I've had a couple people message me and was like yo like people that I hadn't talked to in like years since like high
Hmm.
school and shit like that. They're like, yo, like I should inspire them to like start losing weight and start doing
Sure.
shit. And like these things like it's not bragging. It's inspiring.
That's right. And that's a fine line, man, because everyone wants to see you do good. They just don't want to see you do better than them. Right? So there's a fine line there of like, when you tell it's the whole, I feel like you clip mark everything I say, but seriously though, like it's a lot of great advice, but people don't take it that it's just, you try to tell big ideas to small minds.
Yeah,
and it doesn't fit. You know what I mean?
For sure.
They approach it negatively. You know what I mean? And they just go, well, that don't make any sense because I don't understand it. That don't mean that it doesn't work. Don't mean that it don't work. That just means you
That,
don't understand it, right?
that's why,
So
for me, like when I post like, I'm down 10 pounds, or I'm down, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. It's like so people can see the steps. Because like we were saying earlier, like a lot of people look at the end result,
yeah,
like and like they're like, oh man, I'm gonna be rich, I'm gonna be famous, and all this shit like that, and
yeah,
they all look at the end result. So like that's why like I like posting this shit, because I'm showing the step by step, like
yeah,
what like so if at some point like I become super successful, it's like, yo, like you can go back and scroll down my fucking my feed, and
yeah,
you can see how I did it.
yeah, man. No, it's
You know,
good. Yeah.
it's not a mystery. Like I don't want to I don't want to hold all the knowledge. I want to share the knowledge. I want people to come up with me. You
No,
know.
that's good to say, and it's nice to say, and it's right, and it's good on you. And honestly, the difference is what's defining what success is to you. That's all.
Right. Yeah.
The ultimate goal and your initial dream change on the journey. Okay,
Yes.
so it
Yeah.
happens,
For sure.
right? It's just reality. You go out there
For sure.
because you want to originally want to be independent. You just want to be independent. You want to, want to be your own. You want to do your own thing. So you think making all this money and being famous is going to give you independence and give you, your ability to be financially stable, right? But then you get an opportunity along the way to do that and you miss it, or you put it aside because your goals change, things change, people
Yeah.
change. You think that it's going to be consistent, and you don't realize that life changes. So just because money's coming in now doesn't mean it's going to be coming in next month. And as an entrepreneur, I've always had that kind of mindset that, what I mean, you got to cherish things while you have it, and you got to be smart with it when you do have it. You know what I mean? Because you gotta be smart. So I was roofing, and
Like,
I was, I was only working half the year when I first started when I was 17. And you gotta budget your money,
for sure.
to
And
be a
like
seasonal worker.
it's all about chess moves. Staying 5 moves ahead. Have you seen the background right there?
Yeah,
It's essentially about staying 5 moves ahead. When I started learning chess, and I was like, I'm like, oh shit, like like, and like somebody said, oh, you can apply like this to life as well, like always like watch this move, and if you do this move, this
yeah,
can lead to this, and
yeah. Of
it's
course.
like yeah, like work smart and hard. People are like, oh, don't work. Like people always say like the phrase like, oh, work smarter, not harder. It's like,
Yeah,
yo, work smarter and harder.
it's just about out hustling people, man.
Uh huh.
That's all it is. It's just is if you're more determined than the next person, it doesn't matter if you're more skilled. It just matters that you're more determined. It's the idiot with a plan beats the genius without one, right?
For sure, for sure. Definitely. Definitely. We haven't been going for a bit. Yeah, definitely. So, is there any questions you got for me?
Well, I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate you giving me a shout out. I'm just excited about my show tomorrow. I didn't have any like real questions for you in particular.
Yeah,
I've just been focusing on the performance tomorrow and all the things that are leading up to it and all the aftermath that's coming up afterwards because I got quite a few things lined up.
for sure, for sure. Well, definitely. I want to wish you luck on the show tomorrow. You're gonna kill it. You're gonna get out there and just fucking wild out and have that energy. And,
Yeah, man.
and all those people you said you said like give you energy. You're gonna be thinking about them before you get on stage, and you're just gonna be like, rah, and you're gonna fucking kill it. You
Thanks,
know?
man. I appreciate that. I'm pretty excited about it. To be honest with you, thanks, yo. I've never joined any competition before. I've never joined any type of song, nothing before, no song competition, no. So I've never been in front of judges before, so that's something new for me. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm not overthinking it. I'm trying really not to think about it. My one buddy was asking me if he's like, "Oh, you've been rehearsing," and I said, "Man, if you gotta rehearse a couple days before the show, you ain't ready." So that's just
Right.
my opinion. I've been doing this for so long that if you need to rehearse the day of or the day before, you're not ready, man. You're not ready,
Yeah.
you're not ready. So for me, I'm just going out, hanging out in the studio, and I'm just gonna go rap a song. I've done lots of shows with nobody in the bar. I've
Yeah.
done lots of shows with people in the bar. So I'm just gonna go there, do my thing, regardless of people are there or not. And if they are, great. If they're not, they're not. That's my mentality behind it. But there's gonna be a bunch of people at this show. Um, I'm pretty excited about it. They're pushing it. They've had over 1,800 votes. They had over, I believe it was over 30 people submitted. 30 people made it to the first stage, and then 8 people got voted down by online voting. And now we're going to 8 people that are going to perform in front of judges. They're going to dwindle that down to 4 people to the final finale at the conference center for the music festival or for the music awards. So they got this whole thing going, and I'm just like walking right into it, like, damn, like I would have paid to be on this, and they're like talking about like prizes and all this stuff. I'm not worried about any of that. I'm just excited to be a part of it, to network, to meet all these people, because there's so many people like yourself, Ross Burns,
Yeah. Yeah.
so many lists of people like I could talk here for a long time, talk about all the people that I never would have met if it wasn't for music.
Oh, for sure.
You
For
know,
sure.
and I cherish that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Like me doing these interviews, like I've met like, man, like so many amazing people, like all over the place. Like it's just an amazing experience. But yeah, man. So yeah, enjoy this night. Yeah, and definitely like people like always say like grind hard, but like actually get some rest. Right, like people sleep on like the rest. Like me, like for a long time, like it was like, oh man, like I don't have any time for sleep. But then like now like I've gotten older, like I realize like when you actually get that rest, like you kill it a lot better than without it.
Hey, I hate to be Joe Namath here, but Joe Namath used to read the playbook under the jukebox lights. Okay, because he was just like, "Hey, we used to play school ball for 8 hours. What's a 2.5 hour football game?" So I feel that way here. I have a 10-minute set, Eddie, a 10-minute set. Ross Burns knows. All my homies know. Hey, we used to kick it for hours, man,
For sure.
hours, bro. So I'm
Yeah,
going up there for 10 minutes, man, bruh. I could sprint for 10 minutes. There's no problem. I'm not worried about the 10 minutes. I'm just my thing is that I'm gonna be bringing my own microphone.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because I want to make sure that the sound is perfect.
for
And
sure.
because lyrics matter to me, and
Sure.
that is gonna define me from everybody else. Because there's gonna be guys that can rap really quick. There's gonna be guys with like battle rap with their funny punchlines, and I'm gonna be right in the middle with clear lyrics that matter, that hit hard, that hit home, that are inspiring. And that's what I wanna go for.
All right, man. All right. Yo, D Saint at EGTV.
Thanks, my dude.
Peace, bro.
Peace, buddy.